So is Singapore Airlines SIA still on the path of a recovery? Can we still see more signs as we begin 2024? Hey guys, Joey here, top tier reminds trader in Philip Securities, and in this video, I'll be talking about Singapore Airlines SIA, right, and why this stock is still in my watch list. And in fact, I've covered this stock, right, just about a few months back when we started to see some signs of a rebound. So before I go into where we are right now, let's take a look at what has happened over the past few months. So you can see that for SIA, we were trading below this very critical resistance level at about $6, pretty much the whole of last year or even 2022, right, below $6, below 580, and we started to see a little bit of actions with it breaking the $5.60, consolidated just at the beginning of 2023, and you can see somewhere around May we broke the $6 mark, and it just shot up all the way from $6 to about that $8, and that's where some profit taking came in. All right, and since July, all right, we have been trading lower and lower, forming what we call lower high. So there are some signs of a short-term downtrend. It kind of broke certain support like the $7, even the $6.60 gave way, and we headed down. And you can see that the 20 days moving average line, this green line is what we call the 20 days moving average. It was pretty much pointing up all the way until July, whereby some profit taking came back. That's where we are seeing a little bit of a resistance at about the $8 to maybe even $7.60, and there was some short-term consolidation. But with the 20 days moving average pointing down and it breaking the support, the selling actually continued more and more. So what happens is that over the past 2 months, since around November, December last year, we started to see some good support being found again. All right, and this support will be none other than the $6. As I mentioned, right, $6 was a very, very critical level. We broke it somewhere in May last year. And 2 months back, we approached this resistance turn support level near this zone, whereby we saw some pretty good bullish candles coming out. Right, look at this right here. This is what we call something like a hammer. There's a long lower shadow. It shows that buyers are starting to come back to defend that that support level, right, resistance and support. So buyers are coming out right there, and we kind of rebounded from that $6. And when you can see that when that happened, we consolidated slightly, and this 20 days moving average was pointing down. This green line has started to point up. All right, can you see right now it's pointing up still, and prices have gone above the 20 days moving average green line. So you can see right now that the 20 days moving average, this green line, it is still sloping up very gently, and you can see prices are still kind of above it, and it seems like we have found another resistance level. A slight resistance was about $6.50, but you can see that over the past 1-2 weeks, $6.60 has came out. All right, just last week we touched like $6.59, all right, $6.60 came back. Today we are also near where the $6.60 is. A bit of profit taking is happening, so we might just consolidate right below the $6.60 resistance, and hopefully if we can break it, right, that's where more upside in terms of the reversal continuing further all the way back up to maybe the $7. After $7, then we might see more upside again. We might consolidate below $7 for a while, and then it breaks it. You can see the reversal continue maybe all the way up to the previous high at about $7.60, right? So what is the support that have came out over the past few weeks, all right? And why are we looking at a pretty good uptrend or pretty good upside move? Well, you can see that, as I mentioned, since we formed the bottom, I mean, we kind of hit it lower and lower. We formed this bottom of $6, and we did not actually go back down. I mean, we did not actually go back down to $6 and tested the support again, all right? We actually just sold back down a little bit. Buyers came back and pushed it back up. So you can see that we form what we call a higher lows, right? Higher lows, whereby the support actually got a little bit higher each time. So this is the low, $6, got a little bit higher, got a little bit higher, and higher. In fact, we can also draw what we call an upward sloping, all right, channel support line right here, all right, connecting the lows that has formed since like October, November, right over here. Can you see, right? So it forms what we call higher low. So just by looking at the price action alone, you can see that we are looking at a pretty good reversal. All right, buyers are coming back out to defend the level and pushing back up, right, to the same $6.50 to $6.60 resistance level. All right, so what is the support that have came out? We can see that right now we may have found a little bit of support. So the support was $6 to $6.10, $6.20, but I think right now we have formed a higher support maybe around that $6.30. Can you see, guys? All right, over the past like 2 weeks, we have hit it there, rebounded. I think this last week we neared it, rebounded again. All right, so it rebounded. Right now it might even pull back a little bit, and it might trade back up to the $6.60 again. But I think right now, anything above the $6.30 support level, it looks quite good. The uptrend looks intact in terms of the reversal. All right, and eventually, as I mentioned, if we break 660, we could still see more upside. All right, so this is SIA on the charts, one of those stocks that has been our watch list. All right, and in fact, we also saw some bullish reversal signals on my 1GT system. Why not just dive into my system to see what it says, all right, and whether any bullish or maybe even bearish signals have came out over the past few months. Alright, so this is Singapore Airlines, SIA, on my 1GT system. So 1GT stands for one good trend, pretty much the entire strategy or the framework behind the system. So if you want to find out a little bit more on the system or the entire strategy, you can go ahead to attend one of those free webinars. I'll place the link below this video. Click on it, register for it. Alright, and that's where I'll share with you the entire framework on the strategy. Why do we know what stocks to focus on, and even know what stocks to focus on, when do we get in, when do we get out, right? All these are critical, all right, and that's what will be shared in this live web class. So the link's right below, you can go ahead to click on it. So let me just dive back into SIA, right? So Singapore Airlines, you can see that since like November 2022, all right, we had a couple of green arrow up. So green arrow pointing up, this is what we call bullish signals. If you see it, and the trend is up, you can see the trend button from red to green. So bullish signals plus a good uptrend, that is where we could see more upside. You can see started to push up, all right, a little bit of selling, some red bearish signals. So red arrow pointing down is where some selling pressure is coming back. We might be seeing a bit of weakness in the short term, so that's where it can also guide you to be a little bit more careful. Maybe you take some profit first, or maybe to hold and wait first before you get in again, all right? So that was somewhere around like March 2023 last year, and this was the signal that I mentioned, right? Somewhere around like April, you can see 20th of April, we got this really good bullish signal, green arrow pointing up. And as I mentioned, May, this is about a few weeks later, all right, in May, we broke the $6 level. We started to trade all the way up. You can see from like about $6 to $7.60, and we got an exit. This is like what we call an exit signal, whereby, you know, it just shows that some selling pressure is coming back. You could also lock in some profits from the previous entry signal. So this is an entry, this is an exit for that previous bullish entry, all right? And you can see that for SIA, we had a couple of like bearish signals coming out. So it was like consolidating, as I mentioned, the 20 days moving average line. The green line was like pointing sideways. So it was just moving up and down. And finally, we broke the support and bearish signal. Look at this, the red arrow pointing down. You can see all the way down, another bearish entry signal, all the way down, another bearish signal, all the way down. So when you see like bearish signal, it can guide you to also get out, right? Not just like hold on to it all the way back down and like back to square one. No, right? You want to just maybe get out first, reduce some exposure, or because that's where we can see some bearishness in the stock. All right, and I mentioned, right, somewhere around that, you know, $6 level when traded down, we found a little bit of a bottom, and there were some signs of the reversal just beginning to happen. In fact, it's still happening right now. All right, and we got a couple of bullish. Look at this, right? So finally, we had two bullish entry signals coming out. Went up a little bit, maybe a little bit of selling right now, but so far you can see that we had some bullish entry signals coming out already. All right, as the trend started to reverse back up. All right, so I think in the next few weeks will be quite critical. As I mentioned, if we were to break that $6.60, I'm not surprised if we have another new bullish signal, maybe like this over here, that can lead the reversal back up all the way to 7 to 760. That's what we are looking for, right? So right now there isn't any bullish signal because it's still pretty much consolidating below the 660. All right, so yeah, we'll see, right? I think if we break 660, that's where it could be a good move, and that's what you could put in your watch list to potentially ride the upside as well. So yes, there we have it, guys. This is Singapore Airlines, one of those stocks that have been in our watch list. It's still looking quite good. As I mentioned, there are some signs of reversal still ongoing, and perhaps you could put it in your watch list as well. Right, so if you like this video, guys, go ahead to give me a like, smash the subscribe button as well, so that you will not miss out on any videos like this. And thank you so much. And if you want to find out, as I mentioned, regarding the entire strategy, so I don't have time to like dive into the entire strategy on when to get in and why do we even look at stocks like this or the trend and all that. But if you want to find out a little bit more, you can attend one of those 2 hours free live webinar, a web class. All right, and I'll place the link right below this video. Click on it, register for it, and that's where I will spend some time to dive into the entire strategy and also share with you on the system and maybe even how you can have access to this system for free as well. All right, so Joey here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.